Okay, you know what's funny to me about that soundbite? Can I tell you?
Go ahead.
He acknowledges it's a mental hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And then when asked to clarify, so you're saying it's a mental hurdle, he kind of backed off a little bit. Because there is, don't you think, a little bit of a stigma kind of attached to the idea that there is a mental hurdle the Suns have to climb with the fourth quarter? Like it might be saying something about your guys or your players if you're saying, yeah, they kind of fall apart in the fourth quarter. Yeah, the fourth quarter's kind of in their heads a little bit. Like almost.
Play it for me again.
Okay.
I want to see if I picked that up.
Okay,
What you picked up.
Here we go.
We just got to get through the mental hurdle of it. For whatever reason, that we've had some letdowns in the fourth, and our guys are talking about it. We're working on it each day. Just trying to be poised. Not trying to put too much pressure on it. And just go out and play relaxed, but play focused.
Do you feel like it is more of a mental thing in the fourth quarter?
It's been a little bit of everything, but it's something we got to get past.
See what I mean?
Yeah, he's saying it's one of several things.
Yeah.
It's not the main thing. It's not the main thing, but it's one of the things we've got to figure out a way to get past.
Yeah, it's just, and Dwayne Rankin's a good reporter. Like so you think it's a mental hurdle? And then as soon as he was asked that very specific question about that, he backed off a little bit. Now, I don't know about you. I happen to think the Suns in the fourth quarter is very much a mental thing. And it's very much a mental hurdle. I really believe that.
Do you think
now.
it's the number one thing? Because I think the number one issue is fatigue.
Okay.
I think the number one issue as to why shots aren't going down is that you're playing everybody 40 minutes a game, and these guys are exhausted and tired, and the bench hasn't been able to come through. And I think there's been, outside of last night, there's been a lot of pressure on everybody that's a scorer on this team to make those shots because there's so many guys that they can't rely on.
You know what I think? You could convince me that it's fatigue. I think it's more you go out and you miss 3 or your first 4 or your first 5 shots in the fourth quarter, and, man, those demons just start kicking into your head. I was sitting on the couch yesterday watching the game. The demons were kicking in my own head. And I'm 3,000 miles away watching the game on TV, and I'm watching them miss their first 3 or 4 shots of the fourth quarter. I'm thinking, oh, God, here we go again. I had the OK Go song going through my head. Here it goes again. Here it goes again. I'm like, here we go. Fourth quarter all over again. And, I mean, they had to bring Devin Booker in earlier than they want to.
So fatigue could lead to, a mental, a fatigue could lead to you miss shots and then mentally.
Yeah, sure.
You're tired,
They
but
could
I think,
absolutely be tied,
and that's why I
yeah.
think that Vogel's probably right that it's a few different things. Another thing it could be, I continue to harp on this, man. I don't know, man. Devin Booker just needs to be in the game at the start of the fourth quarter to me. I mean, you got to rush him back 2 minutes into the fourth quarter instead of him getting his normal rest because they go on an 11-0 run to start the quarter. And
we can sit here and say, and you'd be right in saying it, not saying you, but just in general. You can sit here and say, hey, look, what does it matter? They won the game last night. They were never really threatened.
No, not at all.
Miami cut it to 13, then they cut it to 11, then they cut it to 10. The Suns were going to win that basketball game. But I'll tell you where it does matter. You had to rush Devin Booker back into that game with 10 minutes to go.
Look at the minutes that all the big guys played.
It's absurd for a game that they led by 25 points with, at the end.
26?
26 by the end of the third quarter. And you got to play your starters almost the entire fourth quarter in that game. You're going to regret these moments at the end of the season. You're going to regret that you played these guys that minutes because then we'll really have a conversation about physical fatigue.
Might have been 28. I got Book hitting a jumper, 78-72, and then Beal.
Okay, whatever it was. It was a big number.
I think it was 28. They were up by 28.
It's a really big number. And yet you have to rush Devin Booker back into that game because you're worried it's going to spiral out of control.
And then look at the minutes that Durant ends up playing in a game like that. Now, I think that they kind of tucked him away in the corner for like 5 or 6 minutes.
To kind of rest him without resting him?
Yeah, I think so. I think he wasn't really facilitating a lot of the offense. He was kind of just being a threat out there. But if you go look at the minutes that these guys had to play in a game that they were up by 28 points.
42 for Kevin Durant, 41 for Devin Booker, 39 for Bradley
And it was
Beal.
100-72. It was 100-72.
Okay, so it was a 28-point
I'm thinking that
lead.
these guys are going to get the whole fourth quarter off.
Yeah.
Like the whole fourth.
Second night of a back-to-back long road trip. And it's not, you're up by 28 late in the third quarter. Man, Frank Vogel's got to be thinking, all right, I'm going to get my guys some rest tonight. I'm going to get a little bit of a blow.
Never happens.
And it just doesn't happen.
Never happens.
And it's just so whether it's the physical fatigue of having to play them all those minutes in the first three quarters, or whether it's just sort of the mental, hey, man, because if like anybody in anything in life, if you've got a mental block on something, if there's something that always causes you stress or gives you anxiety or it makes you uncomfortable, right, that's something you got to get over. That's something you got to deal with and you've got to address and you've got to try to solve. I think it's the same way for the Phoenix Suns. I think they start these fourth quarters, and if things don't go well early, those thoughts start to creep into their head. And I think it is absolutely a mental hurdle that they have to get over. I think it is in their heads. Hey, guys, it's the fourth quarter. Hey, let's make sure this fourth quarter isn't like the last fourth quarter, because the last fourth quarter was really bad. Oh, my God, we're starting to go down that spiral. It's going to be just like the last fourth quarter. Here we go.
Almost the reverse of what they were 2 years ago, when in the final 5 minutes of the game, this is ours.
The exact reverse.
The exact reverse. This is ours. Nobody is beating us in the final 5 minutes of a basketball game. Nobody.
And I'll give you credit. And I noticed this too, but you said it when we were doing our caller segment earlier. I think you're absolutely right. I think they play the game in the fourth quarter to kill the clock.
They do.
I think they play the game in the fourth quarter. Hey, we've got
when
the
they're
lead.
Ahead.
Let's just milk this.
They don't want to take a shot with 10 seconds into a shot clock.
Kill some clock. Let's run it down.
So they end up getting a worse shot because it's like, I don't want to shoot the ball 10 seconds in. I don't want to shoot it. I'd rather shoot it when the shot clock is under 10, because now I've just at least killed like 14, 15 seconds. Sometimes they run it down to 2, 3, 4 seconds. They end up getting a worse shot than they could have got 7 seconds earlier.
Now, what's it going to take to fix this? Well, I think it's part physical and it's part mental. You know, you'd like to get your big three, some minutes off throughout the course of the game, maybe save them up a little bit. Number two, you'd like to have a successful fourth quarter or two to build up the confidence. Hey, guys, we've slayed the demons. We've conquered the mountain. We figured it out. We got over it. We're okay. We don't have these fourth quarter issues. But until they do that on a routine basis, I think we are all, the Suns, the players, the fans, everybody watching, I think we're all going to be a little grippy at the start of every fourth quarter, wondering
if it's a close game.
How's this going to go tonight?
Yeah.
What are they going to do tonight in the fourth quarter?
I think the lead was so big last night that I didn't worry that they were going to lose. But I was really hopeful that they could have gotten those guys out 6, 7 minutes left in the game because they were up by 28. And they weren't able to do that. And then again, I mean, you start to talk about the amount of 40-minute games Durant has played, the amount of games that each of these guys has played where the minutes are very, very heavy. You're hoping to spare these guys a little bit of time on the court if you can win some of these games easily.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.